Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I would like to thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that has given everything. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from darkness into brightness. In this opportunity, I would like to tell about qualitative research. Definition of qualitative research. Qualitative data analysis is an iterative and reflexive process that begins as data are being collected rather than after data collection has ceased. Qualitative research begins with assumptions and the use of interpretive or theoretical frameworks that inform the study of research problems addressing the meaning individuals or groups ascribe to a social or human problem. Characteristics of qualitative research. The first one is the researcher conducts the study in the field in a natural setting. The researcher does not use someone else's instrument but gathers data on his or her own instrument. The researcher collects multiple types of data. The researcher uses both inductive and deductive reasoning in making sense of the data. The researcher reports the perspectives of the participants and their multiple meanings. The researcher reports the setting or context in which the problem is being studied. The researcher allows the design or procedures of the study to emerge. The researcher discusses his or her background and how it shapes the interpretation of the findings. The researcher reports a complex picture of the phenomenon being studied. When to use qualitative research? We conduct qualitative research when we want to empower individuals to share their stories, hear their voices, and minimize the power relationships that often exist between a researcher and the participants in a study. We conduct qualitative research when we want to write in a literary, flexible style that conveys stories or theater or poems without the restrictions or formal academic structures of writing. We conduct qualitative research because we want to understand the context or settings in which participants in a study address a problem or issue. What types of ethical issues need to be anticipated during the process of research? Consider how to address an ethical issue. Choose one of the ethical issues that arise during the process of research. Invent a dilemma that might happen in your own research and then present how you might anticipate resolving it in the design at your study. What is the model structure for a plan or proposal for a qualitative study? Before designing your own study, it is helpful to think about the way that qualitative studies are structured. One way to begin thinking about the structure of qualitative studies is to sketch out the flow of activities that authors used in their published studies. For example, one study may start with a discussion about the problem and then move on to a theoretical model, and then on the purpose, and so forth. By engaging in this activity, you will have a general structure for how you might organize and present the topics in your own study. Designing a qualitative study. The process of designing a qualitative study emerges during inquiry, but it generally follows the pattern of scientific research. It starts with broad assumptions central to qualitative inquiry and an interpretive or theoretical lens and a topic of inquiry. After stating a research problem or issue about the topic, the inquirer asks several open-ended research questions, gathers multiple forms of data to answer these questions, and makes sense of the data by grouping information into codes. themes or categories, and larger dimensions. The final narrative the researcher composes will have diverse formal, from a scientific type of study to narrative stories. Several aspects will make the study a good qualitative project: rigorous data collection and analysis, the use of a qualitative approach, a single focus, a persuasive account, a reflection on the researcher's own story, culture, personal experiences, and politics and ethical practices. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.